Welcome back to the Raising Rock podcast. I am so thrilled that you have chose to join us again. We are in for a treat today. I have Morgan Mullen with us. She is a dear friend of mine. Some of you might know her from Instagram. She has a thriving interior design business. What I love the most about her is she is pursuing this amazing God-given passion and really skill that she has for interior design. And she is choosing to put her family first in everything that she does while still building this business and doing it with her family, her kids in tow, all of that. She is a force to be reckoned with and is amazing at what she does. We cover everything in this episode. We cover how she's raising her kids, specifically how she's keeping her little girls to be little girls in a world of Sephora hauls and crop tops and Starbucks drinks. She has managed to keep her little girls little. And we cover that. We cover video games with boys. We cover health and wellness. We cover her childhood and the lessons that she took from her childhood and how she's putting them into her own parenting and how she's infusing gratitude into every area of her life. We cover health and wellness. You name it, we cover it. This was her first ever podcast. And you guys, she went there with all of it and was so honest and transparent. And I couldn't be more thankful that she chose Raising Rock to be her first ever podcast. This episode did go a little long, so we are splitting it up into 2 episodes. So whether or not you're tuning into episode 1 or episode 2, you are in for a treat. So with that, Morgan, welcome to the show. Okay, let's talk business. I want to hear about Mullen Design Co.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, I know you've shared a little bit on your stories on Instagram about how you started Mullen Design Co. But walk me through why you started the business.
So I went to school for business marketing and I got a degree in biological science and business marketing.
Oh, that's an interesting...
Yeah. It's very strange. Well, here's the backstory.
Please break that down for me.
So
I'm not understanding this.
The whole thing was that I really wanted to be a physician's assistant. I didn't want quite to be a nurse. I didn't want all the responsibility of being a doctor, but I wanted to be a PA. So I started going to school. I did all of the prerequisites. I did all the biology and anatomy and physiology and microbiology. And I really loved science, which is super strange because it's actually like, I don't know, it's not, I was fascinated by it. Did all the volunteer work, got the 4.0, did all the things. And at that time, nursing school was highly impacted. Like it was nearly impossible. Even with everything that I had going, I was having a really hard time getting into nursing school. And it's so interesting because like that, you think back of all these different things that happened and where it led you to.
Yeah.
Like I was not able to get into nursing school and I tried for over a year to PA school. I had this moment where I was like, okay, I'm getting older. I got to figure this out. What should I do? I've always loved business. I've always been entrepreneurial. Shoot, I'll just get a business degree. Why not? Right? So you have to get a business degree and focus on something. So I decided just to do marketing. And ironically, I mean, at the time that I was getting my degree, there was no social media really. I think Facebook was like kind of coming out, but the marketing.
MySpace.
Oh my gosh, MySpace. Like your music.
We're both just aging ourselves talking about MySpace.
Such millennials.
And pagers.
Pagers and MySpace, kids will never know. Like I was like changing out my music on my MySpace every day.
Your top 8?
Top 8.
Yes.
My music, what was popping up, all of it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I got the degree in marketing. I had already done all the work for the biological science, so I had it. And super long story short, I graduated from college and the very next weekend, Joe and I got married. This is how I do things. It's like, I told you, there's no in between. I'm black and white. It's either
150%. Not even black and white. No, you do things at like 150.
150. Like I am at 150% or I'm at 0. So I graduated from college the very next weekend. We got married. We went on our honeymoon. We came home. We bought our first house. We decided to have a super small wedding and we had tacos in the backyard. We got married in the church and then we had tacos and dancing in the backyard of my mom's house. Had a super small wedding. And then within a couple of months, I was pregnant with Brooklyn. So it was like, I didn't really have a chance to take my degree and go get a career going. But that was just kind of the path that God led me on. And that's what we were doing. And I was a stay-at-home mom. I ended up getting pregnant with Everly. So the girls were only 23 months apart. So Wow. They were really, Brooklyn was like 15 months old when I got pregnant with Everly. And that was intentional because I really wanted the girls to be close in age. And the first couple of years, I was a stay-at-home mom and I was with the girls, but I was itching to do something. I loved being home, but also really, I think because I am the way that I am and that entrepreneurial drive and that fire, I wasn't, I guess for lack of a better way of saying it, I didn't feel fully fulfilled just being home. And everyone is different, but I just needed to have something going on for myself. And so I was just kind of looking around like, what can I do? What I did when I was 5 years old, starting the egg business. I knew I didn't want to be away from the kids. I knew I didn't want to be in like, say, a 9 to 5, but I needed to do something. So I started making succulent pumpkins. I was like, what can I do? I had succulents all over my yard. I was always just creating things. And I will get to how this turned into a design firm in a minute. But I started making succulent pumpkins and I put them out on this Facebook moms page. And during like the holiday season, like for Thanksgiving and Halloween, I was selling like hundreds of pumpkins.
I'm sure.
Hundreds. I have videos of our entire dining room table, my island. I was making like all these little centerpieces and arrangements and I loved it. Like it was so much fun and I was actually making some good money. So I was doing that. I would make those at night or I would make them while the girls were taking their naps. And it was just like giving me something to fill that creative side that I had. And really long story short, I was making these arrangements. And when it wasn't pumpkins, I started making other little like teacher appreciation gifts. And one day this woman came to pick up her arrangement and she said, you have such a beautiful front yard and you have all these succulents and it seems like you're creative. Can you help me with my front yard? And I was like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing. I had never done landscaping. I mean, I like did a little bit here and there, but I was definitely not a landscaper. Then I fast forward, I find myself standing in her front yard and I'm directing where boulders are going and I'm going to Home Depot and I'm planting all this stuff in her front yard. And by the grace of God, it actually looked really beautiful. I don't know how. I didn't know what I was doing, but finished that. And she said, do you want to do my kitchen? And I was like, okay. Wow. Again, had no idea what I was doing. Zero idea. But I just knew what I wanted it to look like. I wasn't using any of the programs that we're using now. Had no idea. But I did her project and I ended up having it posted. I think Pottery Barn posted it and Rejuvenation had posted it. And
what do you mean they posted it?
Like they reposted it on Instagram.
Like were you posting on it? Okay, so you posted on Instagram.
Yes, I posted on Instagram and these companies started picking it up and it started building.
Wow.
It started building. So after that, it was in this moment where I was like, okay, maybe I should put myself out there, like really put myself out there. So I posted to that same group where I was posting my succulents and I said, I think I want to be a designer. Is anybody interested? And I'll never forget. I've told this story 1,000 times. I posted it and I just remember my heart like pounding out of my chest and I just sat there and I told Joe, I'm like, what if nobody likes it? What if nobody like comments and says, yeah, I'm interested? And I rewind back to that moment where so many thoughts came into my head that said, just delete it. Just delete it. Just delete it. You like that imposter syndrome, right? Because I really didn't know what I was doing. But I sat there and my heart was beating out of my chest and like after like DMs started coming in. Yes, I'm interested. I have this little girls room that I want to do, or I have this, I have that. And that's where I started.
Wow.
So I started just like zero experience, really learning things on YouTube, spending a lot of time on Pinterest, and started doing small projects. I didn't charge anything at first. I worked for free, which was difficult because we were one income household at the time. But I just kind of did things on the weekends. And so didn't charge anything. I was doing stuff for friends. So that whole first year I didn't charge anything. The second year I hired a babysitter and was charging just enough to pay her. And then it started to build from there.
Wow. And how have you been able to balance motherhood, building the business? Because for those that don't know, I'm sure your audience is tuned in and they know you have an amazing business and it's thriving and it's beautiful and you've done incredible things. My view from where I sit is that you've done a really great job keeping your family first.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever really recall you missing a sporting event or a meeting at school or a drop off or a pick up. Like you somehow are keeping family first while growing this business. How has that happened?
I think when you go back to the emotional side of my childhood, when we decided to have our family, it's a decision. And for me, it was, I want to be the best that I can possibly be. So for me, the way that I'm able to balance things is, and I'm not perfect. I'll be honest. Like, have I missed things? Sure. And I think that it's one of those things where you just have to do your best, right? Like there, especially when there's 4 of them, like it's really hard to be in the business and there's 4 different sports going on and all of that. But family is always first. Like it's always just, that is in my mind that they come first. And the balance is really just it really comes down to being organized in my mind. I guess that's like the short of it. Like for me, when I'm looking at the week and I know that Declan has a baseball game and Brooklyn has horseback riding and there's something that I want to volunteer in the classroom, I'm blessed because I'm able to build my schedule, right? I'm able to build my schedule with work, and they know that there are certain days where I'm not there and I'm with the kids, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but I think it's an intentional thing that I have to do with my schedule to make sure that I am in these different places. Thankfully, I have Joe and I work together, and that has been like such an incredible blessing for us, because if it wasn't that way, I'm not sure I would be able to do all of this, to be totally honest. We work together as a team. If he does drop off, I do pick up. He does a lot of the sports and the homework, but I'm in the class. I do the classroom stuff, and I'm there for the field trips, and we balance the business together, and we are like a total team unit when it comes to how all of that works. So it's definitely challenging. It's not easy, and there have been days where I felt Joe always tells me, like, you can't be everywhere all the time and you can't be so hard on yourself, but there's always that. You're going to always have that mom guilt, right? Yeah. And I think because I do have so many kids, I've had to say, okay, I can't be there for every single thing. And maybe I am going to miss something every once in a while, but it just is what it is. And as long as the kids know that they're supported and they always have a parent there, and we're just doing the best that we possibly can.
Yeah. Well, you do a really good job.
Thank you.
From my perspective, I think you do great.
Thank you. It's difficult.
What would you say to the mom who is either home with her kids full time, or maybe she's in a career that is sucking the life out of her and she's not with her kids enough and she wants to make a transition? But I think I've heard you say, like, I needed to make $1,000 a month to like help pay for groceries. Like, what do you say to that mom who is like, either I need to make $1,000 a month to help make ends meet, or I have this passion, I have this gift that God has given me, but I want my family to come first. I have this passion, but I want my family to come first. Or I need to put $1,000 a month towards bills, but I need my family to come first. Like, what do you say to that mom listening right now?
Yeah, the $1,000 a month thing is so funny, because it really was something that I actually said to Joe. And we live in California. It's expensive to live here. It's difficult to have a one income household. I think some people can do it, but most can't. In our situation, I did mention to him that when we were starting all of this, I said, wouldn't it be so cool if I could make $1,000 a month, like to help with groceries or to help with stuff? And Joe was like, yeah, that would be great. And that was 7 years ago, but I never would have thought that it would have turned into what it has turned into. What I would say is, if you have a passion and a drive for something, but family does always come first. I think nowadays, with social media and with being able to have courses and to be able to teach people things, if you have a talent or you have a gift, like, people want to hear that. You can sell your gift. And social media is so crazy. Like, you can do that and you can still be with your kids. You can still be home. It's not easy, and I think it's definitely, there's no one right answer for that mom that wants that. I talk to a lot of people. People will come in and send me DMs and say, I really want to do what you're doing. How do you do it? And I don't have the answer for that, right? Yeah. And it's built over years, and it's been really difficult. And there have been so many days where I have said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I've even told you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like I've sent you messages and been like, this is really hard. It's very difficult to balance it. But I feel like if you have that calling inside of you, that is a God-given talent or a calling or something that's just like burning inside of you, you have to follow it. And hopefully if that mother has a supportive husband or family nearby, even if their husband is working a lot, but have a really helpful parent that can step in. We don't have a lot of help. So that has been a challenge for us, but I would say you have to go for it. I think you have to see like what you're doing here. Like that was placed on your heart to do a podcast. And if you don't do it, then you'll always wonder what could it have been?
Yeah.
Like I think back to that, like what if I never put that on Facebook?
Yeah.
I literally, like, what if I just never had done it, never took that risk, never took that leap, right? You have to take that action. And I think that's one of the main things with business and with growth is doing things that make you feel super uncomfortable. Like I was so incredibly uncomfortable when I started all of this, and it did not feel organic. It felt really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But then as you're growing, it's like going to the gym. We both go to the gym. Like you're uncomfortable, and that growth comes with that discomfort. And that is really what happened with the business. And you grow and you get better. I always say build and grow. As you're building, you're growing, and then you're growing and you're building, and it just starts to pile up. But you have to start.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think if there's that mom out there, I think my advice would be you have to just start and set your intentions. Family is always going to come first. My employees know that if they get a call from their school, like family in my mind is always going to come first. Like I don't care what it is. If you got to go, you've got to go. Like family, and if you're running your own business or doing your own thing, you have to put your family first. And I think people will understand that.
Yeah.
They do. My clients understand that. I literally have an amazing client who, when we went down to do our contract and everything, he said, just so you know, I have 5 kids. And he goes, if there's ever anything that comes up, kid's sick or kid needs to be picked up from school, or you're down here and you're on this project, if anything ever comes up, know that I will never be upset with you if you have to go. And I was like, oh, you're my person. Like you're my person. I need more clients like this. I need more clients like that understand that like I am still a mother and I am doing everything that I possibly can. Of course, my clients are important to me, but if it came down to signing a project or being there for my kid, I'm going to choose my kid over the project. Yeah. And that's just, I'm going to be extremely unapologetic about that.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head for me of like the season that I'm in, starting Raising Rock and the podcast and all the things that we're doing. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And what's uncomfortable for me, and I've not talked about this a lot on air, it's probably really the first time I've talked about it. What's uncomfortable for me is when I left my career, February of 24, I was so passionate about being a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. Like God just lit this fire in me of I need to be a stay-at-home mom. I need to be raising my kids. I mean, who I am today is wildly different than the person that I was in my career. And God has just really worked on my heart and worked on my relationship with my kids and my husband. And I'm so thankful that he pulled me out of that. I was just in a very selfish, I wanted the power, I wanted the money, I wanted the career, I wanted all of these things. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted all these things for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And God delivered me from that. And I just had this passion for stay-at-home moms. And I was like, okay, my mission is going to be encouraging other moms to become stay-at-home moms or to pivot their work to work less or whatever, you fill in the blank, right? And like, that is what I felt like my calling was. And while I still believe that women should be the primary presence in their children's lives, and they should be with their kids as much as possible, and it shouldn't be nannies and relatives and whatnot raising their kids. I still wholeheartedly believe that. I've learned over the last couple of years, it's not always that simple. Right. It's not always as simple as just be a stay-at-home mom. Like, what are you thinking? Just be a stay-at-home mom. Like, be home with your kids. Like, that's going to solve all your problems. And it didn't solve all of our problems. I was suddenly home, and I realized, okay, things are still hard. Things are still difficult. Yeah. I need tools. I need resources. I need conversation. I need community. I need all these things. I didn't have it, so I started building it. But I think what's been uncomfortable for me is I was so vocal about the only answer is you need to be home.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting a podcast, and we wrote a book, and that's coming out in a couple months. And we're creating all these resources, and we have merch coming out, and we're doing all these things. And I struggle with, I don't know if feeling like a fraud, imposter syndrome. I don't think it's really imposter syndrome, because I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. I'm still just being me. But I think because I was so vocal about you need to be home, that's the only answer. And I do still believe that being home is really important, and being that presence is really important. But I think you can also have a passion in your life.
Yeah.
And you can also have something that you're doing in the nooks and crannies of your day.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, over the course of July, this is the only day this month that my kids have been with someone else. And it's because you and I are filming. And then I have a couple calls for merch and stuff like that. And so I'm cramming basically a month's worth of work into today. And I don't know, I'm rambling, but I think that's where my discomfort has been, is like, am I a fraud for believing women should be with their kids more than they're not? But then I'm starting this thing. How do I still honor what God has put in my heart and help other women see that being with their kids is good and right, and we should be doing that, but then we can also have these passions and pursue those?
Yeah. I don't think you're a fraud. I think that along the lines of that concept that I told you about, building and growing, right? We're always changing, and there's no one right answer. So like when you first started the journey of being a stay-at-home mom, that was what was placed in your heart, but that doesn't mean that it's forever, right? That doesn't mean that's what you have to stick to. You are still a stay-at-home mom, but you're able to also cultivate your passion, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know how to say it, but I feel like you can have it all.
Yeah.
I do feel that. I feel that if you work hard and you are driven and you manage your time properly, like you have to be able to cram a lot into a day. I mean, then we're mothers, like that's what we do. But I think that you can have it all, because I think that as long as your children and your family is your focus, you can still have those passions and not miss out. You can still be in a lot of different places at once. I truly believe that, because I'm doing it. It's interesting. My mom always used to say, some of the best moms are like part-time working moms, or like not a full-time job, but moms that are able to still have that, cultivate that passion, or feel like they're part of a community. Like that's what you said you were missing, is that community and that conversation. And I think that if you're able to do something like that, whether it's doing your own thing or working in a creative space or following your passion, whatever that might be, it helps you be a better parent and a better wife, and you feel balanced. For me, I feel more balanced when I'm able to get a little bit of work done and I'm able to be with the kids. And everyone's going to have a different situation, and there is no one right answer, but I don't think that you're a fraud for that.
Well, thank you.
Not at all. I think it's actually makes you real. You did it, but you also have a calling to do a little bit more too.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And your kids aren't being raised by somebody else, and you're still there, and you're still there for all the moments, but you're also able, I think that there's really something to be said about fill your own cup too.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to, and that's not selfish. Like you have to take care of yourself. You have to follow your heart. And if your heart is telling you to start something or to work somewhere, or you're not a bad parent for that.
Yeah.
When I think back to when I was a stay-at-home mom, I don't know that I was my best self. And that's just for me. And there might be the next person that thrives in that environment. We're all different.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, when I've had a styling, or I've had these days where we have these incredible design presentations, I'm like, my soul is so lit up, and I'm so happy that my kids would rather me walk in the door after a day like that than be home all day being upset that I'm cleaning up a mess that I don't want to clean up. It's like I'm my best self when I'm being creative and I'm at work. I feel really good, but I'm also able to balance getting home and truly like missing that time that I want to be with my kids. So it's just that balance of the work and the passion and being with your family.
Yeah. I think what's really helped me too in processing all of this over the last year that we've been building Raising Rock is the career that I was in. It was a very selfish season of my life. Like I was doing it for the money and the position and the influence and the power, and like my heart was just in a bad place when it came to that. I wasn't doing it to put food on the table. Like it wasn't like I have to have this job to feed my family. I was pursuing it for other very selfish, vain reasons. And with what we're doing with Raising Rock, I have realized I am in need of these tools. I am in need of this community. I am in need of these conversations. I'm not having them because I have all the answers. I'm making them because I need the answers to be the best mom that I can be. And so the career, well, not that this is a career, this little side gig,
Don't say that.
whatever it is that we're doing here, whatever we're doing here, God has put on my heart and my mom's heart for a reason. And it is actually benefiting my kids.
Exactly.
Everything that I'm doing, I bring home to them, or they are part of. Every flashcard that we have made that have little Bible verses and questions on, I have used during devotions with my kids. And so it is being done with my kids and my husband as the center focus of my life. And I think that's the shift. This is not just a paycheck. In fact, I've not made a penny to date. And if I never do, like, I trust the Lord with that. That's not what this is about. This is about, I needed the tools for my family and we created them. And I don't know. Anyways.
Think back to me crying, telling you about that podcast that I listened to that changed my life.
Yeah.
Literally. Like it was a light bulb moment that went off in me. So you have a platform that you can build that could potentially, even you joke and say one of my 200 or something, whatever, literally one of those people could listen to something and say,
but that's enough.
That's
enough for me.
Yes.
And that at the end of the day is enough for me. If one person listens to this episode and is inspired to, you fill in the blank, that's enough for me. If all that ever comes of Raising Rock is my kids have a deeper relationship with Jesus because of the tools that we've created and the book that was written, that's enough for me.
Yes. And also take it one step further. If you help that one person, but also additionally, they see a happy mom. Yeah. That I think speaks for, they see a mom that feels fulfilled, a mom that feels good about what she's doing, that feels like everyone needs to have a purpose or feel. And not that being a mother is not a purpose, because that's the number one purpose, but I feel like your kids seeing you happy is so huge. And my kids, they're invested. They want to know, like, what did you do today? And like, show me your styling and look what mommy did and look what this used to look like. And it's not just about making someone's house pretty. It's about truly, like, some of these people, I've worked with hundreds of people. I can honestly say that when we're going in and we're helping people purge and we're helping people, I've had people who have had deaths in their family, and I've had people who have had really poor marriages and they're rebuilding, and it's so much deeper than just the Instagram flap, go back and forth and see a before and after. So is it just hardwood floors and paint? To me, no, it's more personal, and my kids know that other side that a lot of times I'm not able to talk about because it's proprietary, but my kids see me, and I also think that I'm trying to create what I saw in my parents. Right. And it's not just about like hustle and work hard. That's not it. It's do what you're passionate about. Right. Like follow your passion and be a good person. Like just be a good person, be an honest person, follow your heart, work hard. But I want them to see that. I really want them to see that. And that's, if nothing more, with your podcast, your kids seeing you happy and seeing you follow your passion. I think there's really something to be said about that. And you don't, just because you are a mom doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice everything. You always going to put your family first, but you should also put yourself first and your happiness, because that is what they're going to feel. They feel that. Like my daughter, I told you, Brooklyn, she's just, I don't know, she can just feel like if I'm having a hard day, like she'll come in, I don't have to say anything. She just feels it and she expresses it, And she'll say, are you okay? And I'm like, gosh, how does she know that I'm not? But I'm trying to smile, and she knows. And that's really important for me, to see my kids see me happy, and whatever that is. If that's going back to making succulents, you know, like not building this huge company. If it's going back to making succulents because that's what I decide to do, but I'm super happy doing it, like, it doesn't matter. It's about having a happy mom.
Yeah. And I think there's times where we have to, as moms, choose to be joyful with our kids, even when our circumstances aren't joyful, right? Like, we can have these passions that bring us joy, but I'm not always joyful. I have a sink full of dishes awaiting me when I get home. Like, that's not going to bring me necessarily joy. But like, if I choose to be joyful of God has given me this home and these children, and I'm blessed that like they dirtied the dishes today while I was gone, because I have mouths to feed and I get to feed. I think we sometimes have to choose to be joy and not look to the things that we're doing to bring us joy.
Being grateful for like the little things.
Again, being back to the gratitude and the joy.
Shifting your mindset to, oh gosh, I have dishes, versus like, hey, I was able to buy organic food and feed my family, and this is the aftermath of that. Right? Like, it sounds so cheesy, but I've said it on Instagram before, where I literally, when I turn the thermostat down in my home, it sounds silly because, I mean, maybe it is a big deal, but like, when I turn it down or up, if it's cold, right, or if it's hot, I have a moment of gratitude when I do that. And I don't know why, it's just in me that, like, when I turn it down, I think to myself, like, thank you, God, that I can keep my house cool for my family. And it's such a simple thing, but like, there are people that don't have that, right? And so when you think about it, versus like, oh gosh, wonder what my heat bill is going to be this month, I'm like, thank you that have this business that I've built, and that we are able to turn the heat on and keep my babies warm at night. It's like a completely different shift of perspective. But it definitely makes you show up differently. It makes you show up as a better person.
Talking about showing up differently, this is like the perfect transition.
Oh gosh.
So you and I have been talking a lot off air over the last week or so about the flood in Texas.
Oh gosh, I thought you were going to talk about something else. Okay. Good.
Oh, what did you think I was going to talk about?
I thought you were going to talk about my health and all that. But no. Okay.
Oh, we can go there. No. You want to talk about your health?
No.
Okay. We can go there if we have time.
Okay.
This is going long anyways. We might have to split this up at some point. No, but you contacted me a couple weeks ago, really tore up about the flood and this interaction that you witnessed at a local nail salon. And I just want to pick at, what has God been putting on your heart? What has he been revealing to you the last couple weeks? Because you and I never really finished. We never like closed the door on our conversation. Because
you were in Montana, and then we've just, there's been so much going on. So a couple of weeks ago, there was this story that started coming out in our small town in San Alejo. I'm not in San Alejo, but I'm part of this group. It's the group that helped build my company. Very close-knit community here. And so there was a story that came out that there was this little girl who was 12 years old, and she was found in her pool, and she was on life support, and I did not know this family. So backstory, I was just kind of following along, and I was literally like praying for this family. We were praying for this family while we were sitting at the dinner table, just praying for a miracle really for this family. And she was actually taken off of life support, and the doctor said that they had never seen anything like it, that her vitals were normal for 36 hours after all of this. It was just this roller coaster of a story. I started thinking, oh my gosh, maybe she's going to make it. And everyone was praying and lifting this family up. And she ended up passing away. And I'd heard of this, and again, I didn't know this family, but you hear those stories, and I think especially when it's like a similar age to your child,
and you can relate to it a little bit differently.
My daughter's about to turn 12, and I'm looking at pictures of her, this young lady, and I'm just thinking, like, as a mother, you feel it, like you can feel this insane pain, and it's not even your child, but you can't even wrap your head around it. And so I was at the nail salon with my daughter Everly. She was turning 10, and it was interesting. And this is why I feel like God led me here. So backstory, I had my assistant, I asked her to help me schedule the day for my daughter. She had wanted to have just a couple of her closest girlfriends. She had a soccer camp in the morning, and then I was going to be picking these girls up. taking them for like a cute little lunch and taking them for like Everly's favorite things. She never gets her nails done. Like I said, she's not allowed to wear nail polish during the school year. During the summer, again, going back to being a little bit more lenient during certain parts of time, I said, let's go take the girls to get their nails done. So my assistant had been helping me because it was a busy week. And I said, can you help me get this set up? And she had made an appointment for this one particular place. And long story short, I said, last minute, I changed it. And I changed it to this random place. And I was there. We were the only people in this nail salon. It was a Monday afternoon. And typically a Monday I'm at work and definitely not at the nail salon. And it was just me and these little girls that I brought in. And all of a sudden I saw this family come in. And all of the nail techs stand up and everyone starts bawling. And I have no idea what's going on. They go running to this woman and she's breaking down. She's falling over and she's just hysterical. And they're all holding her. And all of a sudden I realized what it was. Like it just hit me. Like I recognized her face. I recognized the father. And I just broke down. And I'm sitting there in this chair and it was just... I'll speed the story up, but I'm sitting in this chair and I'm having this moment where I am very emotional around birthdays, extremely emotional around birthdays. I don't think it's ever going to leave me. My kids are my life. And every year that they're getting older, there's always that selfish part of you that's like, oh, like you look
like
at those
what
pictures,
you didn't give to like go hold that baby again.
Yeah, it's just the babies and the little cute voices. And you love them being small and squishy and then they start to grow. But like, it's this bittersweet moment where you're so grateful and blessed that they're growing and they're healthy, but then the selfish side of you wants them to be your baby forever. And not that they won't be, but it's just different, right? Yeah. So every year that they have a birthday, my husband knows that I'm always just a big sap. Like birthdays are very special. We have our routine, they have their balloons, and it's just my thing. So I woke up on Everly's 10th birthday. This is the particular day that I go to this nail salon. And it's her 10th birthday, and there's always that side of me that's like, oh my gosh, she went from like single digits to double digits. It's a big deal. Just wait. It's hard. It's hard on your mama heart, but you're also excited for them. So I'm there, and I see this all start to unfold. I realize who it is. And I'm watching this mother watch my daughter in front of her, and I'm hearing her say, I don't want to cry because it was so much. She said she should be here with me. Like this was their place. This was where they go. She had just been there and she was showing pictures of her daughter's blue nails that she had taken when she was in the hospital. And she said, I want this color. And I'm watching all of this unfold. Ugh. I'm watching all of this unfold. And I texted Joe and I said, the family who lost that baby girl is here. And I'm like, I'm a mess. Like I can't, I felt paralyzed. And I sat there and I'm like, this is my daughter's birthday and I'm supposed to be celebrating. And the girls could feel this energy. The girls felt it immediately.
They knew something was off.
And the girls had all been getting their nails done at different times. And I mean, it was literally us and then these little girls that I brought. And that was it in the whole place. And I felt guilty. I felt guilty that I felt bad that she was watching this. And it was so heavy. And so I go to check out and I'm trying to like figure out if I should say something to her. I felt so paralyzed with just sadness. I didn't know what do you say? I'm sorry. Yeah. You don't know me. I'm praying for you. I've been praying for you. Like I didn't know what to say. And I know in those moments, when I have those moments, I have regret that I didn't say something. But what ended up happening to me after that is I got home that night and we'd had a beautiful day with Everly and celebrated her birthday. And I was able to compartmentalize and that had happened, but I was able to put a happy face on for her for the rest of the day. Got into bed that night and I just broke down. And like literally like you have that type of crying that's just like you can't breathe. And Joe was like holding me and he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, there's some reason why I saw that. And maybe it was just a coincidence, but it felt like more than that to me. It felt like it was this moment where God was trying to show me to be grateful and that like every day is not promised. And we wake up and we jump in our car and we're busy and I'm trying to run subscriptions and clients and kids and the store. And I'm always trying to do all these different things and I love it. But it was this moment where I thought to myself, nothing matters if your family's not okay, like if your kids are not okay. And it gives you pause, right? It really truly like makes you think what is important. And I'm still working through the lesson that I'm supposed to be taking from that moment, but my biggest takeaway is just going back to gratitude, and every day is a gift, and our children are a gift, and this life is a gift. And it was a really just profound, another one of those profound moments for me, like seeing that mother and everything that she's going through, and can't even fathom it, but it was so much. And I posted it online because anytime something's heavy in my heart, Joe's like, what? Joe doesn't understand because he doesn't have social media. Never has, never will. But when things are put on my heart, I'm very open. Like, I'm very much an open book. I will put things out there, and sometimes it's like, you don't really realize how many people are seeing it. But I put it out there that had happened. And a lot of people wrote back to me and said, I think the reason why you were there is because God wants you to share this, because we all need to slow down, and we all need to be grateful, and we all need to just hold our babies tight, right? Like, just, you never know every day is just, it's crazy. It's just, and then I think also that the stuff with Texas was going on too. And it was a hard week for me, really, a lot of people, but it was just a lot to take in. And then, that's when I reached out to you, and I was asking for all your wisdom.
Ugh, I don't know. Did what I say help? Was that helpful?
It did. I think it, yes.
I don't know if it was wisdom. It was just...
It is. I think it's always... I
babbled.
No, I think it's great to have that perspective, and you nailed it. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, and what I had shared, because we were talking about the flood and this thing, and the question of why does bad things happen to good people?
Yeah,
and I'm not even going to open that can of worms right now, because it is gnarly, and I don't know if I have a good answer, but I think what I really tried to keep coming back to with you was we have to cling to the hope of eternity,
right? And
the hope that Jesus brings us of an eternity with him, because this world, you're not promised tomorrow, like you said. Like, the only thing we're guaranteed in life is that life will end and life will be hard.
Yeah.
We're not guaranteed a good life. We're not guaranteed anything. And I posted something on Raising Rock yesterday, and it was just a carousel of thoughts of my prayer for my kids is that they have just enough in life that they can be full of gratitude for what they have. Mm-hmm. Because if you have too much, you don't realize your need for Jesus. Like, if you just are so full and you have all these amazing things, you're not dependent on Jesus. But then on the other side of that coin, if you can't put food on the table and life is really difficult, like, resentment can start to develop. And so my prayer for my children, and I need to be better about praying this regularly, which is part of why I wrote it. Again, I write these things because I need them for myself, is I want my kids to have just enough that they are so full of gratitude, but not so much that they're not in need of Jesus. And I think it's just always coming back to, we need Jesus. He is our only hope. Life is going to be hard. But if our hope is on him and our joy is in him, not in the circumstances of our life, it will make the hard a lot easier to get through.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's kind of what you were saying too in the message that you sent to me, along the lines of, right? Weren't you saying that? I can't.
I think I babbled for 14 minutes, because I was like, I couldn't land the plane of like, why do bad things happen to good people? So I just kept going like, our hope needs to be in Jesus. Yes. Not our joy needs to be in him, not in our circumstances. Yeah. I think I even touched on the book of Acts and Paul. Like, if you look at Paul and his entire ministry and you study it, I mean, he was shipwrecked. He was basically stoned to death. He was persecuted. I mean, the list just goes on and on about all these terrible things that happened to him. Yet he writes over and over again about all these things that happening to him are what produced in him this reliance on Jesus. And so you just have to trust the Lord that when all these terrible things happen to others around us or to us, like, we don't see the full picture. He sees the full picture in heaven. and he's working all these things out for good. But man, when you're sitting in it, it's or witnessing it or watching it,
it's so heavy.
Man, it's so heavy and it's so hard. We have to like remind ourselves to have that perspective over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely that moment for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Well, let's end on something happy. You brought up your wellness journey. So you opened the door to that. Let's like end on a really happy, because we've bonded so much over our wellness journeys together and all of that. So let's just end there.
What do you want to know?
I don't know. What do the audience want to know? You have lost a lot of weight. You've been working out. You've had a transformation in your life from a physical perspective.
So I think, where would I start? So after I had Declan, I told you that was a really difficult year in my life. Yeah. So he was not only going through all of his casting and everything, but he was experiencing some extreme eczema, losing his hair. He was waking up in the middle of the night, itching himself, and it was really difficult.
No, any of that.
It was extreme eczema, and he was miserable, and I was miserable because he was miserable.
Yeah.
And it all kind of started to come to this moment where we scrambled an egg. Kids, I'll get to the point, I promise. You have kids, the babies, and they start with their first foods and whatever. So we had come to this place where it was like, oh, let's do a scrambled egg for Declan. Well, it turns out that he was deathly allergic to eggs. And this kind of started this whole snowball of me realizing, oh, he's deathly allergic to eggs. We were in the hospital. I had been eating eggs every single morning and nursing him, and this was what was causing all of this, right? So the point of this story is that it started right after having Declan, that I started having these crazy food allergies. And then I started going for these. I was having food allergies. He was having food allergies. Very long story short, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Hashimoto's.
I mean, I'm not an expert, but I know what it is.
Hashimoto's is a autoimmune disease where basically your thyroid starts to attack, your body starts to attack your thyroid. And a lot of women have it and they don't know. And a lot of it has to do with hormones and stress. And you'll see a lot of people come out after.
So is it triggered by stress?
Yes. And it was a very stressful year for me. And the way that the eggs correlate with this is that eggs can be super highly inflammatory. And I didn't know this. Again, I was eating 4 egg whites every single day. And anyway, to make a super long story short, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I didn't do anything about it. So typically you would go and you would get on some sort of a thyroid medication or take steroids. I kind of I think because I was building the business, I was putting myself very last, I'll be honest. I was not taking care of myself. I was not working out. I had high levels of stress with building the company and trying to balance things, and I wasn't balancing things properly. And I was putting myself very last. And I came to a place on Mother's Day of 2024 where I had this moment where I saw a photo of myself. And is that vain? Maybe, but also, again, going back to like showing up as your best self and being a happy parent. If you feel good about yourself and you feel good in your skin and you're not uncomfortable, you show up with more confidence and you show up as a better parent. It literally shows up in every single aspect of your life. And I saw a photo of myself and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I always just use Hashimoto's as maybe my excuse. Like, oh, I can't lose weight because I have Hashimoto's. Oh, I don't feel good because I have Hashimoto's. I had rashes. I had the weight gain. I had this excruciating pain in my feet where I would get up in the morning and I would feel like needles in my feet. It was so painful. But I just got used to it and I really didn't do anything about it because it felt selfish to take care of myself.
Yeah. And
that's a thing that I know a lot of moms can relate to. You don't want to take the time to take care of yourself because family is first, but if you're not okay, they're not okay.
Yep.
Right?
You have to put your own oxygen mask on before you can put someone else's on.
Exactly. So Mother's Day 2024, we're at a soccer field tournament. And Joe takes a picture of me with the kids. And I looked at it and I thought, I don't want to live like this anymore. I really don't want to be feeling the way that I felt. And that was it. It just like clicked. And it was the first time that it clicked, because we all know, like when you're trying to lose the baby weight and whatever, I'm going to start on Monday, right?
Oh,
I'm going to start on Monday.
yes.
I'm going to meal prep and I'm going to feel super great. And then something happens.
Monday never comes, or Monday comes and then Tuesday comes and you're like, oh, forget about it.
Something just literally clicked in me. And if you go back to the 150, I was at 0 and I went to 150. And maybe I don't recommend that, but that's just the way that I am. It's the perfectionist in me. So it was like, I decided in that moment I had to make a change. And that change was getting myself to the gym, started focusing on protein. I was going to Orange Theory, and I thought I was doing all the right things because I was running and I was doing elliptical. I would go into the gym and I would just do elliptical for 45 minutes and walk out. But what I was actually doing was just burning my adrenals out. I was already highly stressed and my thyroid wasn't functioning properly. And then I was like running on an empty stomach.
Well, and I think people don't. I just listened to something with Gary Brecka yesterday. Mm-hmm. Did you listen to the Gary
Not
Brecka?
Yet.
Okay.
I'm on my way home.
You're going to listen to it and you're going to know. That's what she was talking about. But he was talking about the number one thing that he noticed when he opened up his clinic with women and weight loss was all these women would come in and they would say, I'm not eating breakfast.
Yep.
And he specifically says, I'm going to Orange Theory, or I'm going and running on a treadmill for 45 minutes. I've been doing it every day consistently for 6 weeks and I have not lost a pound.
Yep.
And I think, and it's funny because like I'll even talk to my husband, because we've been on this, I've been on the same like weight loss journey. I'll talk to my husband sometimes about like how I'm doing things and the protein and the lifting heavy weights and all the things. And he's like, you just need to add in more cardio. And I'm like, no, that's not the answer. Yeah. Cardio is not the answer. It's the opposite for women, but it's like a unique thing for women. And obviously Morgan and I are not doctors, so this is not medical advice.
Definitely not.
But like both of us have experienced this like shift of fasted cardio, restricted eating, high stress. Like that was
a recipe for
correct, for high cortisol disaster. No wonder we're not losing weight because we are breeding like dysfunction in our body.
Yeah, that was it. It was like, okay, you have to take an honest look at what you're doing and say, if what I'm doing is not working, then I got to try something different. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, I had this mindset of, oh, if you go to the gym and you lift heavy weights, you're going to look like a bodybuilder. You're going to look like this. You're going to have this manly body, or you're going to grow a beard or something. If you have if
you lift too heavy, you might grow a beard.
If you start eating too much protein or creatine, you're going to start having a mustache. But it's the opposite. It was like my body was like, oh, you finally got it. Like you finally figured it out. And it's still on the journey. And it's been about 14 months. I was actually thinking about this morning. And I'm so grateful for the day that I decided to do that, right? And I actually stuck with it. So I started doing the heavy classes, the heavy weight training classes. We started working with our trainer, focusing on protein. I don't restrict anything. Like that was the one thing where I used to think, oh, well, I did everything. I did keto, I did Atkins. Like we really want to date us. Oh
literally
gosh,
everything.
Atkins.
Remember like
beach, and then the Mediterranean diet.
Yes.
It was all fads and just garbage.
Did you ever do Weight Watchers?
Never.
Oh, okay. I did Weight Watchers. Oh, did I do Weight Watchers?
Really?
Yes.
Does
oh my gosh.
work?
I was in nothing. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that.
Okay.
I do think Weight Watchers can create some like healthy habits. Like if it's the Weight Watchers that it was when I did it, again, I was like I was 12 when I went to my first Weight Watchers meeting. Like it has been a lifelong battle for me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But I do think Weight Watchers does create healthy habits. Like their point values, you get like lower point foods if it's high in fiber or vegetable. Okay. And so I do think
it helps like the groundwork for food.
Yeah, because you want high fiber, you want vegetables, you want all these things, but it never worked worked. Nothing ever worked for me until I realized it was high protein.
Yeah.
I mean, I still track my calories, but I hit really high protein and I'm eating a lot of calories.
Yeah.
I'm eating like 1,800 calories a day and heavy lifting.
It's retraining your brain, and it's getting rid of the narrative that we've heard, right?
Yeah.
The narrative of, like I said, the too much protein or the restriction and all of that, or the heavy lifting is going to make you be this big burly man. It's the opposite. It was like when I started doing that, I started to see the weight come off, and the better I started to feel, the more motivated you are, right?
Yep.
Like I remember though, I told you this, like the first 3-4 months, there wasn't much movement. And I was like, gosh, like I'm doing this and it's not doing anything. And I felt like it was just the same story that it had always been. But I think around like maybe month 3 to 4, maybe just slightly after 4, is when I started to realize like, okay, like I'm starting to change and things are starting to change. And it's not just the physical, like I said, of course there's the physical element to it, but it was really mental for me. I was really starting to feel alive again. And I feel like I spent, and I've talked about this online, I spent a good decade just, again, putting myself last and nursing. I had 4 babies and I went through 4 C-sections and I nursed every single kid to a year. And I burnt myself out and I loved it. I loved having babies and nursing and the sleepless nights, and I wouldn't change anything. But I came to this place, and I don't know why, again, it was like this moment where it was Mother's Day, where it was like, you got to take care of yourself. It's Mother's Day and I want to be a happy mom. Yeah. I want to feel good about myself. And my kids saw, my daughter would come in and be like, oh, Mom, you're looking good. Like you're feeling, when she saw that I started wearing color. I told you, we were joking about it, but like I was still wear black, but I started to show up. Like I remember going to Anthropologie with Everly. It was right before my birthday. And she's like, try on this hot pink dress. And I put it on and I was like, I would never have done that. But it's not so much about the color or the dress or any of that. It's just like showing up as a happy, healthy parent and my kids seeing that. Yeah. And I want my kids to see Mom does get up and she goes to the gym, and doesn't necessarily, if you can't go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, then find a time to walk around the building at your office or whatever it is. Like prioritize it. Yeah. And your kids are going to see it. My kids see it.
Want to raise, like my whole thing is I want to raise kids with character and virtue. And part of having good character is being disciplined. And discipline is waking up, doing good things for your body, not just being negligent with your nutrition or your health. And so but I could not organically teach that to my children if I wasn't first doing it. Because like I was raising my kids, I was buying the organic food, I was doing all the things, I was trying to create discipline in the way they ate and the way that they did things, yet I was a really bad, unhealthy version of myself. And like that even switched for me of, okay, I need to, it's not about the vanity. It's not even sometimes about putting myself first. It's like, okay, I have to first be a good model for my kids of what does health look like? What does wellness look like? What does taking care of yourself look like? Because that's part of raising kids is teaching them how to take care of their bodies.
Yes, it is. But they are completely watching you.
Yeah, everything you do.
They're watching everything that you do, and they're making little mental notes. And I watched, like I said, going back to like watching my mom and what she was doing when I was growing up. You're watching your parents. Yeah. And I think that especially for being a girl mom, showing them that you're taking care of yourself. We don't talk about, and I think this is an important thing to touch on because it's more about wellness and like feeling good versus like we've never talked about weight. Yes. We don't talk about weight. We don't talk about anything like that because
it's strength, it's wellness.
Yeah, like even the other day, like we're moving furniture, we're moving stuff in and out of the house, and I picked something up and my daughter was like, holy smokes, Mom, like you can lift that? I'm like, girl, this is nothing. I mean, we're lifting a lot in the weight. Yeah. Like I want them to see that I'm strong. It's not about the weight. It's about how I'm showing up. It's about me feeling good, and they see that. So it's not there's no emphasis on the weight side of things. They see that the healthy, it's more about health. It's about wellness. And we do that with their food too. Like, again, we don't want to restrict them, but you know that we're very conscious of the things that our kids are eating and all of that with sugars and dyes. But I'll say to them, like, is that a good choice for your body? Right? Like, is that going to, like, I'll say to Declan, like, is that going to help you grow big and strong, and is that going to help you get a home run? Eat your protein, eat your vegetable. You can have that. You can have the chips, but you also have to have a healthy, balanced meal.
And that's exactly what we do with Luke. Luke's a lot more aware of it than Ben is. I mean, Ben's still 5, so he's eating what we give him, and it's not really an awareness thing quite yet with him. Where with Luke, like he's aware of wanting to perform better in sports and wanting to be faster and stronger and just the other day, he's like, I want to hit 100 pounds. I'm like, ooh, like, let's get there because you're strong and you're tall and you're like, he's starting to like make those connections of when I eat something, it either makes me feel good or it makes me feel bad. Totally. And this protein is going to make me taller and stronger and faster. And this ice cream cone, while I can enjoy it and it is fun, it's not serving my body. Yeah. And it doesn't make me feel good.
That's what we do with the kids, especially with the girls. Like you can have it, but I also want you to listen to your body. Yeah. Like when you start to feel like if it's not tasting good to you or if your stomach's starting to hurt, your body's telling you that you're done. You know, like you don't have to have the entire thing. And it's not about weight. It's about health. It's about strength, good and strength. And we do the same thing with the kids, but it's been an incredible 14 months that I've been doing this and still learning and still getting better. And still, I feel like I'm still changing and still have a ways to go, but I feel like a different person.
Something you said to me a while ago, I don't even know if you remember saying this, but you were telling me, this was much earlier on in the journey. I was just starting, because you're at 14 months. I started in November. 9 months. Okay. So you're at 14 months. I'm at 9 months. And I remember you saying to me when you like first had started, the most you'd ever done was consistent with something for like 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. And I remember you saying what changed in me is I told myself, or I asked myself, what if I was consistent? Yeah. What if I just woke up and I just kept going? Yeah. And I have had that moment over and over and over. And it's not that I've had days where I've not worked out or days where I've like maybe whatever, overindulged too much, but instead of letting myself fall off the bandwagon entirely, I said, like, what if I just showed up and I was consistent again? Yep. What if I just kept going and I didn't just throw in the towel? Exactly. And so thank you for telling me that. Because it's like, I've repeated that in my mind over and over. This is like, what if I still just showed up and went to the gym tomorrow? What if I still just showed up and had my protein tomorrow? Yeah. I look at it that's exactly the way that I've thought about it. I thought about it the same way that I think about the business, continuing to show up and continuing to get better. And if I had not done the things that I did, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I think when I had my 1 year anniversary, so it was Mother's Day of this past, what was that? May? Yeah. May. Yeah. Not that long ago, 2 months ago. And I woke up that morning and I was like, what if I never started? Yeah. What if I never just did it and stayed consistent? Yep. Right. Or what if I never posted that thing? What if I never posted that I wanted to be a designer? Yep. What if I never said that I wanted to launch a subscription box? All of those moments that were incredibly uncomfortable, like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym is not fun. It's not fun. No, it's not fun. And there are many days where I would be standing there and being like, what the heck am I doing? I'm exhausted. Yeah. Weston was still waking up all night long. I let go of all the excuses and just did it and took that action. And I think that's one of the main things. I think when people come to me on Instagram and ask me like, what can I do? I'm like, you have to start. Yeah. If it's business, if it's a podcast, if it's the gym, if it's being a better parent, like whatever it is, you have to start. Yeah. You have to take action and not make excuses, because we all have excuses. My excuse was I have Hashimoto's. My body is attacking my thyroid. I'll never be able to lose weight. It is what it is, right? No, I never took medication. I've never taken thyroid medication. Yeah, that was like the number one thing that I was adamant about. I did not want to have to get on thyroid medication. And if you're on it, like everyone has a different journey. But for me, I knew that once I started that, I would never be able to get off. So I made a promise to myself that I had to start taking care of myself. And the whole journey became what it was. And I was able to start seeing results without the medication. Just have to start. Yeah. And God honors us taking those steps. And he honors us when we take those steps and make those hard choices. Yeah. And we're grateful along the way. Yeah, 100%. There's so much gratitude around that, because I feel like I've had so much. It's not just about monetary growth or business growth. It's just at the personal side of how I've shown up in this last year since I started really, truly prioritizing my health and wellness and feeling the best that I possibly can. It transforms everything. Yeah. Really does. Where can people find you? if they don't already know where you are?
I am, well, a couple of places. Instagram is, I have a few different things. I have Mullen Design Co. is the business side of my life, and that's where we do all of our renovations and our before and afters and follow projects of things that we're building and things that we're remodeling. That's where our subscription box is and our home decor stuff is. And then recently I did decide, when I was starting all of my health journey, to start my own personal Instagram. So I'm also at Morgan Mullen. And that was a decision, and I'm not sure it was the right one, because you never know with social media, but it was feeling like showing up and being at the gym or a protein shake or the chicken that I was making, and then being at a construction site or launching the subscription box felt kind of like all over the place. A lot of people came over from that, but those are the two spaces that we're at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
As always, I just love chatting with you.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. So are you.